Congress is demanding an immediate and unconditional release of its president, Joe Ajaero, who was picked up by operatives of the Department of State Services earlier today. In a statement by NLC's Head of Information and Public Affairs, Benson Upah, Mr. Ajaero was on his way to the United Kingdom on the invitation of the Trade Union Congress of Britain when he was picked up at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. The NLC says his president was detained without any legal warrant and that his detention is unjustified. The statement mentioned that the NLC has put all its affiliates, state councils and civil society allies on its highest state of alert. The Congress is also holding closed-door meeting to determine the next line of action. You recall that the NLC president was invited for questioning by the police over an investigation into alleged terrorism financing. Let's turn our attention now to politics. The Julius Abure faction of the Labour Party says it has withdrawn the automatic ticket earlier reserved for presidential candidate Peter Obi, and that all its tickets ahead of the 2027 general election are open to all qualified Nigerians. The faction took the decision after it held a National Executive Committee meeting in Abuja on Monday. They condemned the convener of the meeting held in Abia State, which according to them is built on illegality. The National Executive Council then passed a vote of confidence on the leadership of Julius Abure National Working Committee.
NEC in session hereby reimpose confidence in the leadership of Barrister Julius Abure's led National Working Committee and urge all party members to continue to respect the leadership of the party and obey its lawful directives. NEC in session also reviewed the decision of the National Convention to reserve its presidential and governorship ticket to Peter Gregory Obi and Alex Otti respectively. Consequently, all tickets of the party from presidency to the House of Assemblies are open to all qualified Nigerians.
What we have done simply is to open the window to accommodate more people. You will agree with me that democracy is about number.
Away from politics to security, let's turn to Niger State, where the death toll from Sunday's explosion has already risen to 60. The State Emergency Management Agency confirmed one of the 8 survivors of the incident died today at the Federal Medical Center, Bida. The agency also said more dead bodies could be discovered as evacuation of the site continues. The explosion, which locals attribute to poor road infrastructure, occurred on a road that has reportedly been abandoned for more than 15 years. Residents say the condition of the Lapai-Agai Road has caused numerous accidents, leading to the loss of lives and property. President Bola Tinubu has sent his condolences to the victims and the Niger State government. The statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Nonuga, President Tinubu pledged support for those affected. He also directed relevant federal agencies to collaborate with the state government to improve road safety and infrastructure across the country. All right, let's take you to the nation's capital, where the Minister of State for Education, Yusuf Sununu, has called for a collective commitment to ensure safety in Nigerian schools. The minister was speaking at an event in Abuja to commemorate International Day to Protect Education from Attacks. Maria Mohammed reports.
Nigeria's education sector have been deliberately hit by targeted attacks from Boko Haram, bandits and other violent in-state actors. This has weakened the country's education system and produced more out-of-school children. Consequently, the federal government established the National Policy on Safety, Security and Violence-Free Schools and National Minimum Standard for Safe Schools for its operationalization. This is to ensure consistent safety standards across educational institutions for the implementation process. This gathering is to shed light on dangers of insecurity as it affects teaching and learning in the nation's education system.
In some parts of the country have become victims in one way or another. This day that we're coming together to discuss these issues in a lot of detail and to work out strategies on how we can make our schools very safe.
When education institutions come under attack, they become the site of fear and violence rather than sanctuaries of the learning, growth, and peace. Parent trust is shaken and children's well-being is compromised.
Today, we stand in solidarity with those whose education is under threat, and we honor the resilience of educators and students who persist in the face of adversity.
This occasion is a reminder of the critical need to raise awareness about attacks on learners, teachers, and educational institutions.
These experts want Nigerians to know that attacks on education have larger implications aside disruptions to the lives of students. The group wants the federal government and Nigerians to create a safe learning environment for young Nigerians by working together towards a world where education is not just a right, but a protected sanctuary for all. Maria Mohammed, TVC News, Abuja.
The Minister of State for Education, Yusuf Sununu, joins me on the news at 7 for more on happenings in the education sector. Good to have you join us.
Thank you for inviting me to this very important program.
So the last 2 days, we've seen a lot of activities in the education sector, highlighting the very importance of that sector. Yesterday was the International Literacy Day, which is where I am going to begin. And because the reports that we have is that 31% of Nigeria's population is illiterate, and we have over 10 million, out-of-school children still. What is being done by your ministry to close the literacy gap and ensure that you have most, out-of-school children captured in the education system?
Well, thank you very much for having me this time and for joining us to assist us in celebrating the World Literacy Day. A lot has been done in the field of education to see how we can include the literacy rate in Nigeria. As of today, really, the literacy rate in Nigeria differs from one region of the country to other, with southern part of the country having as high as 93% in states like Imo State, while in the north is as at a lower level of about 30 to 37% in states like Yobe and many other states in the north. This is really of concern, because globally, we do know that education is the basic ingredient and the foundation for society to develop. And it's on that concern that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came up with the programs that will enhance Nigerians' chances to win in the progress of improving the literacy rate in Nigeria. You understand that the President came up with an 8-point agenda. And in that 8-point agenda, there is a special focus on education, health, social welfare. And on that education, a lot is being done. Mr. President put it as one of the major thematic areas, the reduction of out-of-school children in Nigeria. And this is very vital considering the figure we have prior to the intervention. We are working with a working figure of about over 20 million. And in the last 1 year, we have succeeded in returning about 4 million Nigerians back to school children. And we are working assiduously to ensure that not they are only returned, but they are also retained, so that we can, in the next few years, our completion rate at all levels of education will see significant improvement. We also working right now to see how we can ginger the activities of all those MDAs or the ministerial agencies that are in charge of education at literacy level and basic level. You have just witnessed, you mentioned International Literacy Day celebration, which together under the National Commission of Mass Literacy, Adult and Non-Formal Education Commission,